This is the No Strings Podcast with Rel Simon. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. No Strings Podcast with Rel Simon. This is episode 68 of the podcast. As always, brought to you by Spotify for creators, and available on all your podcast platforms. Posting on IG, Instagram, doing the TikTok video, hyping up the episode, doing the YouTube audio on YouTube, and available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. So, here we are with this being recorded on Saturday, September 27th. By the time you hear this, I do believe you would hear this on this day, Sunday, September 28th. And this is the first of a back-to-back. My first time doing a back-to-back. I had two different ideas for two different episodes. So I'm recording episode 68 now. Then I'm going to get off, edit it, put it together. Then I'm going to jump right into episode 69. All today. Let's get it all done. Let's get it all out of the way, right? So the title of this episode, the title of episode 68 is Athlete's Setback. And in my opinion, for all the talent that our favorite athletes have, there's one major setback that can affect a few of them. Now, granted, there are a wide range of setbacks. Your talent level, you may get a career-ending injury. We can see a lot of athletes, some in the NFL realm, that may do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years and then kind of hang it up. You may have a devastating injury that you can't come back from. My professional wrestlers, y'all know I love wrestling, and wrestlers are athletes as well. And so for some of them, they may have that spinal stenosis or a neck injury or too many concussions that forces them out of contention or being able to perform and do what they love to do. But we're kind of going to leave it to, in a general sense, the four major sports. Which four major American sports, which is the NFL, National Football League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, Major League Baseball, and NHL, National Hockey League. But we know that there are rich, some millionaire athletes in multiple sports, including MLS. And even though they want equal pay, they're kind of in the six-figure range, and hopefully their net worth is increasing because of brand deals. You have the WNBA and all the other various leagues. And then you have the college football with the NIL deals and everything like that. But this is mostly football focused. I noticed in my notes I didn't put anything with baseball. I will try to blurt something regarding baseball here in a moment, but let me just quickly mention the movie Him. It's not a movie that I've seen yet. I remember when I first saw the trailer early in the spring, Jordan Peele movie, boom, I think I may have to go see that. And I plan on watching it eventually. And I'm still intrigued despite the 31% Rotten Tomatoes score at the time of this recording that it has received. The reason why it has that score is because it has great visuals, great cinematography, but the plot or the storytelling is just bad, according to critics. And the movie Him, directed by Jordan Peele, is of an up-and-coming football athlete who is under the tutelage of a current star that is fading, or his time in the sun is starting to fade. And that mentor kind of shows the upcoming athlete the trials and tribulations of what it takes to make in the league, which is portrayed in disturbing ways. In my head, in general, it kind of portrays a story of how a sport, particularly in this instance football, does require a level of physical and mental sacrifice. And there are a lot of different sacrifices as well. Financial sacrifice, emotional sacrifice. And your level of contribution, that can lead to your success or your failure. Again, your athletic ability plays a big role as well. But if you think about a stellar athlete, that athlete will typically get rewarded with a very hefty financial contract. You've got the contracts that are laid out for X amount of dollars for a set amount of years. Let's say $100 million for over 6 years, as an example. And some of the contracts become lucrative and they just increase year by year by year. And you can be one of the best athletes in the sport, in your profession, in your position, in your skill position. And all that contract money that you gained, it can vanish in an instant. We think about the rookie that receives that base contract, that 6-figure contract. A few years ago in the NFL, they restructured rookie deals where you're on like a 6-figure deal. And then I think the fourth going into the 5th year, you have an option to extend, or if they may waive you or cut you or what have you. Basically, for the rookies is to allow them allow the owners and the team owners and general managers a feeling out period for those rookies if they don't pan out and become stars. You think about like the 5-year veteran, or let's say someone's been in the game 4 years, 5 years, 7 years. And they end up receiving a hefty contract extension in the tens of millions of dollars. Think about the reigning MVP who receives that Supermax deal. You typically hear Supermax used a lot in basketball speak and with basketball type deals or contracts. And that Supermax deal makes them the quote unquote highest position athlete in league history. And with these deals, with these max deals, these athletes become instant millionaires. In the role of baseball, you've got these sort of 10-year, $200 million contracts, just straight bankroll. The contracts that are laid out in baseball is extravagant, extraordinary. I'll try to pull up one. Let's see. Highest baseball contract. Okay, so according to Google AI, and a lot of this stuff I have upcoming, I've used a little bit ChatGPT and Google, so credits in advance. But so Juan Soto plays for the New York Mets. He's on a 15-year, $765 million deal, which was signed in December 2024. Largest in MLB history, but also the biggest contract in any professional sport, which surpassed Shohei Ohtani. A World Series winning Shohei Ohtani from last year's $700 million agreement. So baseball is on definitely a widely different level. But my narrative here it still applies because it's still an athlete. And some of these stories are real inspiring because you have a lot of people who come from nothing. You watch those drafts, those first night drafts. You got the parents in the crowd. The draftee is crying. The mom is crying. The wife is crying. Or if it's like a WNBA draft, you got the husband crying and everything like that. Or fiance is crying. The parents are crying. And then you see a lot of good feel-good stories about how they've given back. The athlete gives back to their parents. Which is a good thing. Sometimes a lot of athletes that kind of rush towards getting all those things. They rush to buy the luxury car, the new jewelry, the new home for their parents. And of course, it's all ties back to personal finance, where people are in a situation and things like that. But you can make the argument that an athlete's priorities can sometimes be backwards or implemented backwards. I don't never really hear the athletes begin with this contract, I'm going to invest this or save this or put that aside for X, Y, and Z. Now, some of them do. They do that in quiet, and those actions speak louder than the words or lack of words, and I commend them. I do believe there's a natural aspect to claim all the material possessions, look ball and have all the good clothes and everything, live in a nice mansion, because you have the funds available, and it's almost like a requirement because you're the celebrity type. You have a celebrity type status. What in the world? Messing around with my phone, and I'm not editing that because that's live. Siri or whoever this is on the iPhone. Anyway, I'm gonna take a quick pause, quick intermission, and when I get back, I've listed. I did a little Google work and some ChatGPT work. Some bad, some good stories of certain particular athletes who have had some very bad financial decisions. Some who are good, and some we kind of want to be on the lookout for, on the horizon for, based on the situation that's going on with them. And then just my general advice. Again, who am I? I'm just a regular guy, but this could be for that high school athlete, maybe listening to this, or college athlete right now that maybe listening to this, or just general advice in general. I mean, you don't have to be an athlete to be able to take in some of the advice I'm trying to dole out. So pause for the cause. I'll be right back. All right, y'all, here we go. Podcast episode 68, No Strings Podcast, Athletes Setback. So let me start off with 7 or 8, in particular NFL and NBA, current and former athletes who have had or are going through some financial setbacks or financial success, or just little tidbits and habits that a frugal person would do. A person of the mindset that is sort of forward thinking and looking to cut corners as many ways as they can. So let's start off with Warren Sapp, former defensive lineman, defensive end, and Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he filed for bankruptcy all the way back in 2012. His reasoning is that he made some poor investment choices. He lived on more than he could make, aka spent more than he could afford, and he owed some back payments and child support. He also had to deal with the fallout from a divorce and pay cuts in his salary as an analyst when he retired from play. In more recent times, he was able to rebound and settle in as a member of the staff with the Colorado Buffaloes football team currently. Throughout his playing career, he made close to $60 million. So he's got child support, poor investments, overspending, that sort of setup, right? A divorce, pay cuts, that pay cuts, or for some people it could be a layoff. He's an athlete, but at the end of the day, still a human. He makes an exorbitant amount of money, and a lot of other things. Because of that, you punch up on the same weight, or you punch to a higher weight in a higher weight class. But some of the stuff we deal with, poor investments, spending more than you can afford, back child support. Let's take Vince Young, former quarterback for my Tennessee Titans. So he amassed around $25 million throughout his playing career. In his instance, family members and financial advisors led him astray. He took out loans to finance birthday parties, for example. He spent $5,000 a week at Cheesecake Factory. On what? I don't exactly know. It's not as if Cheesecake Factory has the bomb food. Their menu reads like a textbook, at least the last time I went. I'd probably just go just to buy a few cheesecakes. I don't know. I got a bias towards Cheesecake Factory. I don't think it's all cracked up than it's supposed to be, but whatever. But my boys out here taking out loans to finance birthday parties and $5,000 a week. The other shocking thing is that family members and financial advisors were the ones to kind of give him bad advice. His advisors probably gave him bad saving advice, bad investing advice. Family members probably needed some loans, needed some money. Hey, Vince, brother, can I get $1? Can I hold something? And it's sad that your own people, the people that you're supposed to trust, they say blood is thicker than water, and they'll stab you in the back. Let's take Anthony Edwards. He's one of the younger NBA players, recently in the league, NBA player for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So he is due to pay in total $1.8 million in child support, which is to be paid out over time to the mother of his child, Aisha Howard, who's an IG model, influencer, stuff like that. That's starting to become a trend lately of persons who, I'm going to just say it out. They basically get trapped. You got these bomb bodies, BBLs, these baddies, these chicks. They hook up with these guys. They may already have a kid or two from another relationship. Hook up with these guys, try to get married, and so they can secure the bag, get the bag, or at least get a baby, so they can trap the guy into paying child support. Or you marry the guy, and if it doesn't work right, alimony, and trapping them. And it's a lot of these young players out here that's getting fooled and played by women 5 years older than them, 10 years older than them, 15 years older than them, and 20 years older than them. There's somebody else that I can't even think of her name right now, but she's I think she's dating that one boy like in his 20s, and she's like 40 or something like that. Straight playing them. And these athletes, these guys are getting played. They are getting played like a fiddle. Let me pop into 2 success stories because it's not all doom and gloom. Let me start first with Kawhi Leonard. This is a minor success story, but I want to highlight one of his habits. Now, Kawhi Leonard is a small forward for the LA Clippers, Los Angeles Clippers. He's currently in the news for negative reasons. There was some type of shadow company made or something. He basically, I think him and the owner, Steve Ballmer, they tried to circumvent a system to allow Kawhi to get paid more or something like that. I don't know. But what I wanted to highlight is something that I remember hearing a long time ago. I think around the time when he won the title with the Raptors, or shortly after. It was a story about how he drove a 1997 Chevy Tahoe, a used car, for so many years. He just rode it till the wheels fell off. And he does have a valuable car collection. But his habit or his dedication to driving an older vehicle until the wheels fell off shows one aspect of a frugal mindset that athletes do need. And it's a general rule that can be applied to us as well, of course. Always not trying to overspend for a vehicle. It's one thing if you have a luxury vehicle, but try to pay vehicles in cash or finance them at a decent rate. You don't want to overextend yourself and get into a bunch of car debt. But that's one thing I wanted to highlight. I think one of the more famous people who has a success story, at least to him, it's a believable story and everything, let's not get it wrong. But Chad Ochocinco, recently his last name was Chad Johnson years ago, but he changed his name to Chad Ochocinco, former NFL wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sure he'll be a Hall of Famer in the future. So, and he's also a current host alongside Shannon Sharp, under Shannon Sharp's umbrella of podcasts and shows, The Nightcap. And Shannon, as a tangent, I don't have this in my notes, but you think about Shannon can be another one where Fox, ESPN, started off at CBS, then went to FS1, then went to ESPN, and then left. But he seems like he's pretty much well off, and he's got a small little media empire of himself and being famous on YouTube. But he got into hot water with audio leaks and everything, and had to come up with a settlement with an OnlyFans woman who was in her 20s. He's in his 50s, who he pretty much had relations with. And he still while that was probably just a chink in his armor in terms of the settlement amount, that's still another one of those sort of pitfalls or distractions when you get head over heels in lust. But anyway, back to Chad Ochocinco, former NFL wide receiver. He saved around 83% of his income, 83% of his income throughout his career. He adopted frugal spending and extreme saving habits. One thing I did not know is that he lived in the team stadium for about 2 years. So this is Cincinnati. I mean, is he sleeping in the locker room? Does he have a cot set up or whatever? You know, how was he able to manage that? I won't be surprised. Some of these places nowadays, I just watched a YouTube video last week about the LA Chargers training facility, the Bolt, the Coop, or whatever it's called, and it's just this $1 million facility, and how it looks. You got the different offices on the different floors, the recovery places, the training areas. You even got like a social lounge for dedicated fans and persons, high ticket people, high ticket purchasers, and everything. And I imagine. I mean, they've got some lounges and couches and TVs lying around. I mean, you may fall asleep. If you have bad sort of access and the security guard sees you coming in, I mean, he might question you if you come in at a certain time of the night. But hey, I mean, whatever. So I imagine like Chad was able to finagle it and make it work. Who knows? But for him to live in a team stadium for 2 years, that in essence, unless he did have a rented apartment or he was paying something or somewhere, or maybe he wasn't, that would negate any cost on rent or mortgage. Now, I'm not saying you like leave where you are and go try to sleep at FedEx Field or Audi Field or the Nationals Park or anything like that, trying to sleep in the locker rooms or in the kitchen somewhere or something. I don't know. I'm also not saying go out here sleep on a cardboard box. Like you need a place to live. That's just a thing of life. But that's interesting. He did that, and he also bought fake jewelry to still look like a baller. And the thing about that is, the setback is that some of that jewelry may turn your skin green, or you may have a sort of a bad reaction because it's fake. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But at the end of the day, some people can spot it out. Most people can't spot that it's fake. So that's what he did. I mean, fake it till you make it. A fake it till you make it mentality. And it's okay if you have to fake it for a long time until you finally make it. And just really going back to the Anthony Edwards Young Gun piece, we have eyes on the PJ Washingtons and the Travis Hunters of the world, TMZ, Shade Room, this place, that place. Because these are young athletes who have children. In the case of PJ, current NBA player, or who are newly married. Travis Hunter, who's an NFL player and a rookie this year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So his first few games. For PJ, he's been in the news lately for his ongoing drama with Instagram model Brittany Renner, fitness model. Earlier this year, she was switched to, I think, being a Muslim, and she was dating Kevin Gates or in a situation, and then that only lasted a few months. Rapper Kevin Gates. But there was a video out about just at the door, he's trying to exchange the child, and Brittany's mom is recording, and there's just a lot going on, just a tense situation. And PJ's fiance, I think wife, was also in the car. You can hear the child, the son is just crying throughout the whole video. Apparently there may have been some fisticuffs between PJ's wife and Brittany. The phone kind of falls and drops by Brittany's mom. So it's just a lot of drama, right? Renner receives a small, not sizable, but a small amount of child support from PJ. And then you have Travis Hunter and his wife, Liana Lene, who was an IG model. They just welcomed their son in August. They got married over the summer as well. There are some detractors who will laugh to the bank and are just licking their lips once things go south between the two. I can admit, sometimes we get jaded. I kind of look at that as well, and I was like, how long is that going to last? It's unfortunate that we kind of live in that sort of society where we don't wish for longevity. We wish for things to end quickly. We want people to fail. And if it lasts, it lasts. But we've seen this sort of habit with this sort of new age thinking between these younger people, this younger generation, the power dynamics, the gender dynamics. Some believe that she only married him to, quote unquote, get the bag. And again, hopefully a divorce doesn't happen. But if it does, she's going to most likely seek alimony or child support or a combination of both, possibly some sort of child custody. And, child support would be a financial thing that Travis Hunter would have to pay. And alimony would be a sort of settlement or something that they may sort of agree on. So who knows? I can't remember off the top of my head if they signed a prenup or not. I think something is telling me that they did not sign like a prenuptial agreement. So then more recently, we've got Cardi B, who just released a new album. I believe she has 3 kids already with rapper Offset, but they've been in just a bad space over the last year or two or so. She's been dating Stephon Diggs. She's currently pregnant with a 4th child, and Stephon Diggs is the child's father, and he may have another child on the way. Stephon Diggs, can't remember where he's playing right now. I think he tore his ACL last year with Houston, or the year before. I don't know where he's playing right now, but he was also in hot water a few months ago because there was like some type of video where it looks like he was snorting on something. So hey, so again, man, these athletes, sometimes they just do it to themselves. They live that wild and that fast life. They fall for it. They fall for the kitty. They fall for the boats and the cars and the mansions and the women, and they are on a pedestal. They're treated like kings, sometimes like false kings. And athletes just have to be extremely careful, just like a regular person. Similar to an average Joe lottery winner, the target is on the player's back. It's always a target on your back, right? To do good on the field, to do good off the field, to do good on the rink, off the rink, to do good on the mound, off the mound, to do good on the court, off the court, to do good in the stadium, outside the stadium, everything. In the press conference, outside the press conference. But among all those things, the financial miseducation, the advisor betrayals, the family deception, the co-parent drama, and so many other things are facets that you have to be wary of. You have to watch your back, keep your head on the swivel. And I say to those fellas out there, I just implore you to seek your proper financial education. Save your money, invest your money. Save your money, invest your money. And when you think you're not saving enough, save some more. When you think you're not investing enough, invest some more. Think with your brain and not with your nether region. Guys, you got this lust and greed out here that can steal and destroy. Lust and greed and addiction. And materialism can steal, destroy. I have heard, though, that there's a greater emphasis to include financial courses as part of a rookie's onboarding process in the league. There are, I'm sure, recovery programs and everything like that. And also, there's just so much financial education out here. The same way that I'm learning through different weight means is the same way that an athlete can learn. By reading, by watching, by listening, by reading a book, by watching YouTube and TikTok and positive financial channels, and by listening to podcasts like this one. And it's hard because the millions of dollars can be a lot to manage. It can be if I had $1 million, that'd be a lot to manage for me. And I'm sure it's a lot to manage for a superstar athlete. That's why you have to trust the people around you, keep a close-knit set of people, because again, your family can stab you in the back, your financial advisors can stab you in the back. the mother of your children can stab you in the back, or for the women, the father of your children can stab you in the back. You just gotta be careful, and it sucks, but that's just life, and you're on a heightened pedestal, a heightened level. But a lot of normal people deal with this stuff. A lot of regular people on a 5-figure income deal with this stuff as well. So, all right, y'all. I felt like this was a good episode. Wanted to hit a lot of points, get it out there. Episode 68, athletes setback. Athletes setback. We know injuries can be a setback, but your finances can be a setback. And I will end it with this last point: is that out of all the stuff that's going on, one of the things, hopefully for all the athletes, you get out the league unscathed and with good health. And hopefully you're not out of the league all beat up and completely broke from all the millions of dollars, If y'all seen Delonte West, or y'all heard of the name Delonte West, he been around here. He been around 495 or DC or wherever he is now. I don't know, Baltimore, but he is probably the saddest case. One of the saddest falls from grace. NBA player Delonte West. From how he looked back then and how he looks now, like, I hate to say it, looking like a crackhead, homeless, just in a bad space. So wherever you are, Delonte, I hope you're doing good. Hopefully you're in a good place, and hopefully you can rebound, my guy. All right, that's all I got for you for episode 68. Thank you for listening to the No Strings Podcast with Rel Simon. Until the next episode, which is coming very soon, I'll holler at y'all. Peace. Thank you for listening to the No Strings Podcast with Rel Simon.